So AI can code now, apparently. Software engineers are dead. We're done, we're dead, the career's dead, pack it up lads, the robots have won. I've heard this every single day for the past 2 years, and you've probably heard something similar as well. But yeah, every single week I fire up my IDE, I build real software, and I ship it to real users. And somehow I'm busier and more productive than I've ever been. So either I'm the last engineer alive and nobody told me, or the headlines are missing something. Spoiler alert, they are missing something. 11 years as a software engineer using AI every single day. Let me tell you what's actually happening. Alright, so what AI can actually do right now. I use AI every day and it genuinely saves me a lot of time. But let me be specific about what it's actually good at and what it's not good at. Firstly, boilerplate code is brilliant. I don't think I'll ever write import React from React ever again because life is just too short. Secondly, unit tests. AI is genuinely really good at generating test cases, including edge cases that I probably would have missed as well. The third thing that I use it for that it's good at is explaining legacy code. So picture this, you open a file that somebody wrote in 2016 with no comments, no documentation, and what appears to be a bit of a personal mission against readability. AI can help you make sense of things like this. Next is debugging. You paste in the error and the code. 7 or 8 times out of 10, it's going to identify the issue faster than I would have done. And the other 2 times, it'll tell me something completely wrong and gaslight me and lie to my face. But that's something we'll get onto. Next is refactoring. So make this cleaner, split this into smaller functions, convert this thing to TypeScript. AI is generally good at handling mechanical transformations. Now, here's what AI can't do. And this is the bit the headlines and the AI CEOs leave out most of the time. AI can't sit in a meeting with a client who says they want one thing, but they actually mean something different. And it can't figure out what they actually need. That requires reading the room. AI doesn't sit in rooms. It can't decide whether to build a feature fast and messy because the deadline is Thursday, or build it properly because this is the foundation piece to everything else. That's judgment, that's context, and it's experience. It also doesn't understand nuance, like why your payment flow needs to handle, I don't know, a user whose subscription starts on the 29th of February on a leap year and his device has got no internet connection or something like that. Those edge cases are where software engineering actually lives. AI is really good at generating code, but AI is not a software engineer, and that's the difference that we're missing. Now, personally, I think of AI usage in 4 levels. Most devs get stuck at level 1, and these are the ones who are most likely to be replaced, not by AI, but by devs who are just more productive in general. And by the way, I think that this applies to most industries as well. This isn't something that's going to be unique to software development. The AI ladder, level 1 is the copy-paste. You ask AI to write code, it gives you the code, you paste it in, you don't look at it, you don't understand it, you just paste and pray. Close your eyes and hope for the best. AKA how to build a product that works perfectly in a demo and then crashes the moment a real user touches it. At level 1, you're basically a middleman between a chatbot and a code editor, and middlemen usually get caught. Level number 2, validate, right? So AI writes the code, you actually read it, you actually understand it, you test it and you understand what it does. If you cannot explain what it does line by line, it doesn't go in. Right? And this for me is the bare minimum of professional responsibility, but you would be amazed at how many people don't even get to this level. Level number 3, collaborate. Okay, cool. So here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So you're not asking AI to write code for you all the time, but you are thinking with it, bouncing architecture decisions, exploring different approaches. Here's the problem, here are the constraints, what are the options that we have? And then you make the decision on the back of that, right? So AI is more of a thought partner at this point. A really smart colleague who never sleeps, never gets offended when you reject their suggestions, and occasionally comes down with a bout of like amnesia or Alzheimer's and makes stuff up and gaslights you, right? It just does that sometimes. Level number 4, orchestrate. Okay, so this is what I think software development might look like in 5 to 10 years, with the caveat that LLMs break their current plateau and actually keep improving, right? So that's a big caveat, by the way. But level 4 is basically where you're designing systems where AI handles the repetitive code execution and you handle the strategy. So you're creating workflows where AI does the heavy lifting under your direction and your supervision. Now, some people would argue that we're already here, but I would argue that we're not quite there yet. But anyway, in this level, you're not really doing the coding, you are directing the coding, a bit like a film director who doesn't operate the camera, but does decide what the film looks like, if that makes sense. Except that the camera sometimes hallucinates and just makes a bunch of stuff up and adds scenes that you didn't ask for. Yeah, that's just the nature of LLMs. But you still need to know what code looks like, right? Which is really important, and I think that a lot of vibe coders are going to miss out on this, and I think that software engineers are going to run over non-technical vibe coders simply because they're going to be able to create better quality software using LLMs. I think level 1 engineers will be replaced. It's too easily replicable. There's not enough moat around you in terms of experience and judgment and discernment. And I think that as long as LLMs continue to improve in their capabilities, I think that level 3 and 4 engineers are going to be 10 times more productive with the same tools. I don't really think that LLMs are a threat to software engineering. I don't see really a point where they're going to replace software engineers, but they are going to make us faster. So for that reason, I think software engineering is not going away. I think it's going to be one of the most valuable skills in the next few years. And I also think that software engineers who write code with LLMs will completely run over vibe coders. Who's at risk? If your entire job is writing CRUD endpoints and basic front-end components with no real deeper understanding of systems, architecture, or why you're building a thing, yes, probably you're the most replaceable. And I don't really necessarily mean by AI. AI can't really fully automate even that right now. But the less systems thinking that you do, the more replaceable you are by other humans, right? If your job involves understanding complex business domains, making architectural decisions, working with stakeholders, mentoring other engineers, handling edge cases that require real judgment, you're going to be fine. You're more than fine, right? Because AI is going to handle the boring stuff so that you can focus on the hard stuff and your data is just going to get a little bit better. Now, in my opinion, junior developers are in an interesting position. The entry-level implementation work that used to be how you learned is getting automated more and more. But juniors who learn to use AI properly from day one will level up faster than any generation before them. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts in a way. The bar's higher, but the tools to clear the bar are better as well. Does that make sense? So whether that's a good thing depends entirely on whether you are willing to actually learn or you just want to do the copy and paste thing, which is not going to get you very far. The worst position to be in right now, in my opinion, and you need to hear this, right, is mid-level coasting, doing the same type of work you were doing 3 years ago and refusing to engage with AI tools because you think it's beneath you or a fad. The predictions nobody should be making. I'm going to do something unusual for an AI video. I'm going to admit that I do not know what happens next. Anyone who tells you with any type of confidence or certainty what software engineering looks like in 2 to 3 years, they're probably trying to sell you a course or they're just lying. And usually the people making the loudest predictions have the worst track records, right? So instead of pretending to predict, let me tell you what I'm actually observing right now and what I'm personally betting on. What I'm seeing right now is engineers who use AI well are shipping things faster. Some teams are getting more done with fewer people, some aren't, right? And so the companies that have tried to replace engineers with AI entirely have mostly done a U-turn on that decision. Job market's harder now for juniors and roughly the same for seniors. Maybe not quite as good, but not a huge difference. Salaries are not collapsing. Demand for genuinely good engineers is still high. This is what is observable by actual data. Everything else is just speculation, right? What I am personally betting on, I am betting that engineers who actually understand what they are building will be more valuable than ever because the volume of bad code being generated has gone up dramatically and somebody at some point is going to have to clean it up, right? So I'm betting that pure implementation work, the boring CRUD endpoints, the basic front-end components will compress in value. And I'm betting that being able to talk to humans, understand businesses and make judgment calls will matter more than syntax knowledge. Now, as for my predictions, I could be wrong about some of them, I could be wrong about all of them, but so could anybody else who's making these predictions, because nobody knows really. What I am not betting on, I'm not betting on AI replacing software engineers, at least not in the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm not betting on prompt engineering becoming a real thing. Systems thinking, problem decomposition, communication, judgment, all of these things come through experience, and they come by doing stuff and getting your hands dirty. These things haven't been disrupted by any technology in history, and they probably won't be disrupted by this one either. If you're a good engineer, this is a great time to be alive in my opinion. The leverage is big, the earning potential is real, the opportunity to build things solo that used to require teams before is real too. So if you're hoping that AI lets you skip becoming a good engineer, you're gonna have a bad time. That's the only prediction that I'm gonna make with confidence, right? Because I've already seen it happen. How to not get left behind. 4 things, and none of them include learning prompt engineering from a 19-year-old on Twitter. First, get to level 3 on the AI ladder, minimum, right? So use AI daily, don't copy and paste, do a genuine collaboration. Secondly, learn the fundamentals deeply. Data structures, system design, how the internet works. AI can write code, but it can't think in systems. When AI generates something wrong, the fundamentals are how you are going to catch it. Without them, you are basically just a confident passenger in a car that doesn't have a steering wheel. 3, develop business acumen, right? So understand why things are built, not just how. Talk to users, understand the market. Be the person who can look at a feature request and say, we should not build this. This is the wrong thing to do. As confidently as you can say, here is how to build it. That's the person that's going to be valuable. Because in a world where the code generation has become basically trivial for the most part, having the discernment and the understanding of what the right things to build is going to be more and more valuable. And before build things, ship stuff. Like, don't just consume content about AI. And yes, I understand the irony of saying that in a YouTube video about AI, but use it to make stuff. Side projects, automations, products. The engineers who thrive are the ones who build. And that's like, even before the time of AI, it was the people that were building stuff that got better. And the engineers who stagnate are the ones who just watch the videos and then don't build anything and go back to refreshing Twitter. So to sum up, software engineering is not dying, but it is evolving. And the engineers who evolve with it are going to have a good time. They're going to have good careers. So in light of all of this, I put together a free guide, the AI rules and VIBECODER survival guide. Inside, it's got 4 AI rules, security checklist, when to stop vibing and hire a real software developer. It's free. Link is in the description. And if you're interested in this kind of thing, subscribe for more. I'm building a startup. I use AI daily and I'm documenting all of it.